During the composting process, biogenic wastes under aerobic conditions, meaning in the presence of oxygen, are degraded step by step and transformed into stable humic compounds. Microbes use the plant and animal wastes as a source of energy. As very different organic compounds have to be degraded, several types of microbes are necessary. Step by step, organic compounds are degraded. Parallel to degradation, other microbes use metabolic products of the composting process to synthesize new organic compounds, humic substances. In humic substances, nitrogen, phosphorus, sulfur, potassium, magnesium and other fundamental nutrients for plant growth are stored. Humic compounds lead to better structure and aeration of soil. Additional water holding capacity and biological activity are achieved. Humic substances raise crop yields and plant health. The main target of composting is to transform the original organic compounds as far as possible into stable humic substances.
Huh? Once again, what happens?
The composting process enables us to transform organic wastes into plant nutrients, so-called humic substances. These are very important for our soils and plants because humic substances increase crop yields.
And what else?
Initially, readily degradable organic compounds are used by the microbes. As an effect of intensive microbial activity, a high amount of heat is produced. By self-heating, within a few days, temperatures of up to 70 degrees centigrade are reached. During this rotting phase, thermophilic microbes, which like such high temperatures, dominate. After a few weeks, the easily degradable substances have already been degraded, the temperatures decrease slightly. Microbes adapted to these lower temperatures, so-called mesophilic microbes, continue the degradation process. They have to use heavily available substances. Temperatures continue to decrease and after a few months, environmental temperatures are reached. It is most important in the synthesizing of humic compounds that all temperature ranges are crossed.
Dass während des gesamten Rotteprozesses alle Arten von Mikroorganismen zum Zug kommen, die alle unterschiedlichen organischen Verbindungen durchlaufen und so auch den Abbau bewerkstelligen.
Sorry, I haven't understood a word of that.
During composting, heat is produced. That is why the windrow reaches very high temperatures, which is very important to kill pathogens.
In addition to nutritive substances, which the organic compounds present in the wastes, oxygen and water are essential. During degradation of organic matter, microbes consume oxygen and produce carbon dioxide. The used oxygen should be replaced by fresh air. This is possible only if there are enough pores inside the windrow to enable fresh air to flow in. Otherwise, the aerobic composting process will be transformed into an anaerobic process, to be avoided. Microbes also need water. Due to the high temperatures and the airflow needed for oxygen supply, a high amount of water is evaporated. These water losses have to be replenished.
Did you mark my words?
Of course, composting requires water and air. Without water there is no degradation. Without air, material becomes anaerobic and smells bad, like I will do soon.
Pooh! What a terrible smell!
What happens during composting we have already learned from Mother Nature. But how is it possible to use knowledge in our composting site in Conakry?
How the composting process takes place over there will be illustrated now.
Market wastes were used in view of their potentially high content of biogenic compounds and low contaminants. However, the market wastes delivered were not as expected. Due to a high amount of physical contaminants, the wastes had to be sorted. Therefore, batteries, leftover medicines, glass, metals, plastic, textiles and such were picked out by hand. Without classification, compost quality would have been poorer. High contents of heavy metals, medicines and glass pieces would hinder application of the compost. The sorting process was very time-consuming. That is why it makes sense to install a better waste separation at the marketplace.
As we were told, the delivered feedstock materials must be controlled. Physical contaminants like batteries, glass or plastics are to be separated before the composting process starts.
Good! You were not thinking about eating for the last few minutes, I see.
I certainly think about eating the entire time, because the degradable plant residues will be transformed into important nutrients. This will lead to better crop yield. But now I'm eager to know what will happen next.
The next step is to build windrows. Therefore, market wastes and cut elephant grass are arranged in alternating layers. Elephant grass is used to enhance structure needed to improve porosity and aeration. As mentioned previously, microbes use oxygen and produce carbon dioxide during degradation. By means of self-heating, the hot carbon dioxide-rich waste air flows to the top of the windrow and runs off. At the bottom of the windrow, this produces an underpressure which sucks oxygen-rich fresh air into the windrow. By means of this convection process, the microbes are once again supplied with sufficient oxygen. This principle only works if there are sufficient pores in the rotting material. Indeed, during the degradation process, the weight of the material may affect the pores, which become progressively smaller. Moreover, a wet windrow caused by heavy rainfall may hamper air supply. In this case, pores are filled with water and there is no place for air. An excessive lack of oxygen supply leads to anaerobic processes, in turn resulting in a bad smell.